to touch on another point that you said about resistance, is like the Schrodinger's cat thing, right?
Yeah.
And the way I see it, and you know my analogy here, is about like work stuff, for example, right? Like, let's say you're running a company and the company has a lot of issues right now. And every single time your employees bring up a problem to you, you start getting all panicked, angry, and you say to them, like, just don't tell me the problems.
Yeah.
Or maybe you say, instead of saying, don't tell me the problems, you tell them like, well, here's why the problems don't exist. You're making up the problems here. It's not there.
Yeah.
You misunderstood the problems, right? That's a bit ridiculous, because even if you deny the fact that there's a problem, even if you say there's no problem, even if you get angry at the fact that they tell you about the problem, it doesn't stop from the problem from actually being there. The problem is there, right? And it sounds ridiculous when you put it into a work setting like that, but in relationships, we do it often too, right? Your partner tells you, for example, I'm unhappy. What do? We say, well, are you unhappy because you misunderstood some things that I said? Are you unhappy because like you misunderstood the situation? You convincing yourself and her that the whole unhappiness was based on misunderstanding is not going to stop the unhappiness from happening. It's already there, right? And in fact, when you tell someone like you're wrong for feeling unhappy in whatever ways you do, all you're doing is basically saying like, I regret telling about this to you.
Yeah, you destroy safety. And
then,
coming at it from a place of trying to fix it, I think, is, I know for me, a common pitfall that I used to do in the past, where not trying to deeply understand what's going on, but just assume based on the one soundbite she gave me what the problem is, and then go and attack and try to fix it. But when you start to dig deeper, you start to realize that wasn't really the problem. The problem was 3 or 4 layers deeper than that. Yeah. And sometimes the solution isn't even necessary. Sometimes your partner just wants to feel deeply understood, and you don't need to offer a solution, or you come to one together. So that took a lot for me to kind of wrap my brain about rewiring it in a way where I'm not here to fix the problems. I'm here to listen and understand so that we can work together. And when I started to accept that, things got a lot easier, because I didn't have this pressure on me, like, I've got to be the fixer. I've got to be the one to repair everything. Now it's more like, let's just listen. And I want to really, and it's genuine. It's like, I want to understand what is going on, that this is not the problem. The problem is way down here, but we need to get there together.
Right. And when people get resistance, and we talk about this in the program too, there's usually 3 toxic responses that people have that you're referring to, which is the active approach, which is when you get angry at it, you wish it didn't happen. The other is a stoic approach, where you're trying to fix it. You're trying to logic your way through it. And the third approach is a passive approach, where you're trying to run away from it. You're trying to pretend it doesn't exist. You're trying to dismiss it. You're trying to just stonewall, for example, like 3 toxic phases there. I think when you talk to most people, they think, again, that middle part, the second part, or the stoic approach, is the part that most people take. But of course, like, most people also take the first and third one accidentally as well, often, because like they're afraid to confront the problems. But what we're saying is, when you get resistance, and resistance can come from many forms. It can be like your partner saying, I want divorce. When your partner says, I want a divorce, you could, if you say like, if you get angry at it, that's a stoic approach. If you try to fix it, try to like explain yourself and try to tell your partner like, oh, here's why you don't want a divorce. That's a stoic approach. That's also very toxic. It's not helpful. Yeah. If you play the passive approach where you give up, that's also not right, right? But then for your new relationship, whenever you have a problem, let's say, come in, same thing. You have the 3 toxic phases. She tells you about a problem. Hey, something you said really hurt me. You can get angry at it and wish it didn't happen. You can be stoic at it to say like, let's talk about next steps and how you can prevent misunderstandings. Or you can be passive and go like, whatever, right? So no matter what you cut it, resistance is just resistance. Tough truths are just tough truths. Never respond with the 3 toxic phases.